All right, so ever get into those, late night debates about like who'd win in a superhero smackdown?
Oh, absolutely. Those are classic.
Right. And today we are tackling a big one, maybe one of the biggest. Batman versus Spider-Man?
Now we're talking. That's a debate for the
It
ages.
really is.
Yeah.
And to make things even more interesting, we're not just confining them to a boxing ring or something. We're taking this battle across land, sea, air, even space.
Now that is how you up the stakes. Love it. It's a classic showdown for a reason, right? I mean, you've got these two titans of pop culture, Batman with his Hollywood Walk of Fame star, Spider-Man, he's got his own Broadway show. These guys have captivated us for decades.
Totally. But at the end of the day, we got to know who would actually win in a fight to the death. That's what we're here to unpack, right?
Absolutely. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
And you can't just like throw them in a ring and yell, fight.
Right.
We've got to understand these guys, their backgrounds, their motivations, all of it. So where do we even begin?
You got to start with the foundation, my friend. The bedrock. We're talking origin stories.
Okay, so it's deeper than just a cool backstory then.
Oh, way deeper. These origin stories, they're not just fun facts. They reveal motivations, weaknesses, the very essence of what makes a hero. It's like their DNA as a hero. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So let's start with the Dark Knight himself. Give us the Batman crash course.
All right, so picture this. Young Bruce Wayne. They're just a kid, right? And he witnesses this horrific crime, the murder of his parents. It's brutal. And this trauma, it becomes his crucible. It forges him. He vows to fight crime, to become a symbol of fear, striking at the hearts of criminals with calculated precision.
Yeah, Batman definitely isn't messing around.
No, sir. And we're not just talking brute force here. This is a genius-level intellect we're dealing with. A master strategist, trained in multiple martial arts, speaks over 40 languages.
Wait, 40 languages? Seriously?
Seriously, the guy is a walking, talking arsenal of skills and knowledge.
Wow, that's commitment. But it really is that defining moment in Crime Alley that sticks with you, right? It shapes everything Batman does, his choices, his moral code. Like, the guy refuses to use guns, no matter what.
Exactly. That refusal, it speaks volumes. He's seen the worst of what guns can do firsthand. It's a powerful part of his character.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got Batman shaped by tragedy and driven by this, like, ironclad code. Now, contrast that with Peter Parker, your average teenager who just happens to get bitten by a radioactive spider.
Talk about bad luck, right? But that spider bite, it gives him these extraordinary abilities, but then tragedy strikes again. His Uncle Ben is murdered. It's a gut-wrenching lesson, and it leaves him with this weight on his shoulders, this mantra.
Which is?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Wow. I mean, everyone's heard that saying even. Wasn't that quoted in a Supreme Court case or something?
It was. Even the highest court in the land is citing Spider-Man. It speaks to the impact these heroes have had on our culture.
It's true. And you're right. It's a powerful contrast, their origins. Batman's driven by vengeance, fueled by this almost cold fury, and Spider-Man carrying the weight of guilt and a responsibility that feels almost too big to bear. Both shaped by loss, but responding in such different ways.
And those core differences, they radiate out into everything they do. It's fascinating.
It really is. So we've got these diametrically opposed origins, but how did their actual powers and abilities, measure up?
Now this is where things get really interesting. Because Batman, for all his gadgets and skills, for all his training, he actually has no superpowers.
Wait, really? None?
None. He's peak human, absolutely. Peak physical and mental condition, no question. But everything he brings to a fight, it's a result of his intellect, his relentless training, and his, let's be honest, almost limitless resources.
Well, he is Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy. Well, not so much the playboy part anymore, but definitely a billionaire.
Right. And he uses those resources to become, well, Batman. It's why even Superman has called him, and I quote, the most dangerous man on Earth.
Which is kind of wild when you think about it. I mean, Superman, the Man of Steel, could probably bench press the Batmobile. But there's something to be said for Batman's brain power. Like, he uses strategy and technology to level the playing field, to go toe-to-toe with beings who have actual superpowers.
And let's not forget the intimidation factor. Nobody rocks a brooding scowl like Batman.
True, true. And speaking of technology, we have to talk about those gadgets. I mean, the Batmobile alone.
Yeah.
It's practically a tank. It could probably take on a small army.
Right. And don't even get me started on the Batsuit, the Batarangs, the grappling hooks. The guy is a walking utility belt of awesome.
It's like he's got to bat something for every occasion.
Seriously, but that's what makes him so formidable. He's a master strategist, always prepared for any situation, and he customizes his gear to exploit every advantage.
So it's not just the tech itself, it's how he uses it. It's the brain behind the batarangs.
100%. And here's a fun little tidbit for you. You know that whole bat prefix thing? It's almost a running joke in comics. Like, bat shark repellent, remember?
Yeah.
Classic. It highlights how seriously Batman takes himself, which, let's be honest, is pretty darn serious. He leans into that darkness, that brooding persona. It's all part of the strategy.
It definitely works for him. Okay, so Batman's all about preparation, strategic advantage, and looking intimidating. What about Spider-Man? How do his powers stack up against, well, all that?
Spider-Man is almost the antithesis. Where Batman is all about control, Spider-Man is about improvisation and instinct.
Interesting. So more of a go-with-the-flow kind of hero.
In a way, yeah. He's got that superhuman strength, incredible agility, those lightning-fast reflexes, and of course, the famous spider sense.
The Spidey sense. Don't forget the Spidey sense. That's got to be a game changer in a fight.
It really is. It alerts him to danger before it even happens. It's like having 360-degree awareness and precognition all rolled into one.
Talk about an unfair advantage. But he's not just a superpowered acrobat, right? Doesn't he also have a brain under that mask?
Absolutely. He's a genius inventor in his own right, those web shooters. He designed and built those himself.
No way. I always thought those were like part of the spider bite or something.
Nope. Pure Peter Parker ingenuity.
Wow. Okay. So it's the meticulous planner versus the adaptable, quick-thinking hero. This is already shaping up to be an epic showdown.
Oh, just you wait. It's about to get even more interesting.
How so?
Because we haven't even talked about the rogues galleries yet. You can tell a lot about a hero by the villains they face, wouldn't you say?
Oh, 100%. It's like, show me your villains and I'll tell you who you are.
Exactly. And Batman, his villains, they often reflect different facets of his own psyche. Take the Joker, for instance. He embodies chaos, pure and simple. A stark contrast to Batman's unwavering order.
It's like the ultimate battle of order versus chaos played out on the streets of Gotham.
Exactly. And then there's Two-Face, a literal representation of duality, mirroring Batman's own struggle with his dual identity. Bruce Wayne and the Batman.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
They even look the part. It's like looking in a shattered mirror.
Mm.
Okay, those are some seriously messed up villains. But what about Spider-Man's foes? They seem a little less unhinged, I guess.
They are, but they challenge him in different ways. Spider-Man's enemies tend to hit him where it hurts emotionally and personally.
Oh, interesting. So less about grand schemes of chaos and more about, like, personal vendettas.
In a way, yeah. Take Green Goblin, for example. He's a constant reminder of the weight of responsibility that Peter carries, and their battles always have this emotionally charged undercurrent. It's not just about saving the city, it's personal.
Wow, that adds a whole other layer to it. So it's like Batman's villains are a reflection of his darker impulses, while Spider-Man's foes exploit his compassion, his empathy.
You could say that, yeah. And then you have someone like Doc Ock, a villain who's literally gotten inside Spider-Man's head at one point. Their minds even switched bodies.
Wait, what? They swapped bodies, like Freaky Friday style.
Exactly. It was a whole mind-bending storyline.
Talk about a mind trip. Okay, so we're seeing this pattern here. It seems like both heroes are constantly battling these external threats that somehow also mirror their internal struggles.
It's the duality of the hero, my friend.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork here. We've explored their pasts, their powers, the villains they face. I think it's time for the main event. Batman versus Spider-Man in a fight to the death? Expert speaker who emerges victorious? This is it, the moment of truth. Expert speaker, no holding back. Who wins this ultimate showdown, Batman or Spider-Man?
All right. You really want a definitive answer, huh?
Fair.
It's tough. I mean, both heroes bring some serious strengths and weaknesses to the table, but
Yeah.
if I'm a betting man,
Yeah.
I think I'd give a slight edge to Batman.
Really? Why is that?
It's the strategy, you see. Batman, he's all about that prep time. He's got the strategic mind, the ability to, like, analyze his opponent, plan for any scenario, and Spider-Man, adaptable as he is, well, he's still got vulnerabilities.
So you're saying Batman could find a way to, like, counter Spider-Man's spider sense, maybe even turn those web shooters against him?
Exactly. Batman's a master strategist. He'd find a way.
Yeah.
But remember, you said this is a fight to the death, no holds barred, right? And you've added another layer of complexity here. We're going multi-environment. Underwater, on land, in the air, even space. This changes everything.
That's right. We're taking this battle across the board. So let's dive right in, literally, Round 1. Underwater. Who has the advantage in the deep blue?
Now this right here, this is where things get tricky for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's strong, agile, no doubt, but holding your breath, that becomes a major factor underwater.
Yeah, even superheroes need oxygen.
Exactly. Batman, though. Batman's got the tech. We've seen him in underwater battles before, specialized suits, vehicles. Remember that time he took on Killer Croc in the Gotham sewers?
How could I forget? That bat sub was legendary.
Right. So yeah, round 1, I'm giving that to Batman, hands down.
Okay, so Batman takes...
This is where it gets interesting. Spider-Man's agility, his spider sense, he'd be incredibly difficult to hit. But, and this is a big but,
Go on.
never underestimate Batman's fighting skills. The guy's a master martial artist, trained to fight multiple opponents, anticipate movements, counterattacks. I mean, he's gone toe-to-toe with Lady Shiva, for crying out loud.
Okay, true. Lady Shiva is no joke. She's basically an assassin ninja master.
Exactly. So, on land, it's close. Could go either way. A real nail-biter, for sure.
This is getting intense. Okay, tied up at 1 apiece, round 3. Let's take this to the skies. Who dominates the air?
This one's a bit more clear-cut, I'd say. Advantage. Spider-Man.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Spider-Man's got that web-slinging action. He can swing through the concrete jungle, no problem. Plus, he's got the maneuverability, the speed, the agility in the air.
Well, Batman can fly, can't he?
True, he does have the Batwing, but it's a much bigger target, less agile, and let's be real, it's not exactly inconspicuous, is it?
Okay, good point. Flying around in a giant bat-shaped plane isn't exactly subtle.
Not at all. So, advantage. Spider-Man.
No. All right, so it's 1 point for Batman, 1 for Spider-Man, and 1 that's just too close to call. This is turning into quite the showdown. Yeah. But we're going all out, right?
Oh, absolutely. We haven't held back so far, have we?
Final round.
Yeah.
The ultimate showdown in space. The final frontier. Who emerges victorious amongst the stars?
Now, space is a whole different ballgame, my friend. Oxygen, radiation, zero gravity, the sheer cold. We're talking extreme conditions. Just surviving out there is a feat in itself, let alone fighting to the death.
Yeah, both heroes are going to need some serious upgrades to their wardrobe for this one.
For sure. They would both need specialized suits just to survive, let alone fight. And this is where Batman's resources might give him the edge again.
Because of Wayne Enterprises?
Bingo! Unlimited funds, cutting-edge technology, the brightest minds at his disposal. He could develop the ultimate space bat suit, no problem. Don't forget, this is the guy who built a contingency plan for the entire Justice League.
It's true. He always has a plan. So even in the vastness of space, it comes down to Batman's preparedness, his ability to outthink and outstrategize.
In this scenario, yeah, I'd give him the edge. But, and this is a big but, we're dealing with hypotheticals here, there's always that element of surprise, that unexpected move, that crazy spidey sense going off that could turn the tide. And honestly, that's what makes these what-if battles so much fun to debate. There's no right or wrong answer, just endless possibilities.
I love it. And it's got me thinking, we've pitted these heroes against each other in this epic battle to the death, but what does this really tell us about Batman and Spider-Man? What makes them so compelling beyond the fight itself?
No, that is the real heart of the matter, isn't it? It's not just about who'd win in a fight. It's about what their struggles, their choices say about them as heroes, and maybe what they say about us as well.
It's true. It's about more than just the fighting, right? We connect with these characters on a deeper level. So we've talked about their origins, their powers, even their taste in villains. But at their core, what makes these heroes so enduring, so damn relatable?
Well, I think it's the ideas they embody, the struggles they represent. Take Batman. This guy, he is a force of order, an avenging angel stalking the streets of Gotham, and he operates with this unwavering moral code, this absolute refusal to kill, even when he's facing down, the absolute worst humanity has to offer.
It's like he's clinging to his own humanity by, a thread, right? It's always walking that line between vengeance and justice and never allowing himself to cross it.
It's a razor's edge, and it creates this incredible tension in his character because he's willing to bend the rules, operate in the shadows to achieve what he believes is right, but he never breaks that one fundamental rule: no killing.
And Spider-Man, he's almost the opposite, isn't he? He's constantly second-guessing himself, trying to find a better way, a more humane way, even when he's facing down villains who, let's face it, seem way beyond redemption.
Yeah, he's wrestling with those gray areas of morality that Batman seems to have, compartmentalized. Spider-Man's journey is so much about forgiveness, about second chances, even for those who seem to least deserve it.
Which, let's be honest, is way more true to life, right? Most of us aren't facing down supervillains every Tuesday.
Exactly. It's those everyday struggles that make him so relatable. He's not this untouchable, brooding figure like Batman. He's flawed, he's human, and he constantly reminds us that even with extraordinary abilities, the choices we make, they have consequences.
And sometimes you mess up, you make the wrong call, even with the best intentions. But you learn, you try to do better next time.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's about striving to be better.
So, we may not have settled the ultimate score, Batman versus Spider-Man, but...
And trust me, that debate will rage on.
Oh, absolutely. But I think we've gone deeper here. We've explored what makes these heroes tick, what makes them human, even with all those gadgets and superpowers.
And maybe, just maybe, we've learned a little something about ourselves along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So next time you find yourself debating who'd win in a fight, remember, it's not always about the final blow. It's about the choices they make, the struggles they endure, and what those journeys tell us about ourselves. And hey, who knows, maybe we'll revisit this epic showdown sometime down the road. Because there are always more battles to be fought, more what-ifs to explore. Until then, keep diving deep and keep those fan theories coming.